My name is Christine Holowka, and I am living, and playing in Wiikinahmahgeh, which is Prince George, British Columbia. My family culture actually comes from Saskatchewan, and I am Cree Métis. And I am one of those hundreds of thousands of people of mixed descent, being Métis, and also wondering who I am, because my father kept a lot to himself. And when the 215 children were found, that was when I really started to wonder what was my father's story. He had passed. And snippets of childhood started coming into me, and I started talking to my siblings. And I didn't realize growing up how much we were affected by the residential schools and the Indian Act, facing racism in British Columbia at the time, as everybody has across, and being of mixed culture, what that does to a person. You don't know where you fit in. And that's one of the things that I really, really wanted to know. Where do I fit in? I felt like I was missing a lot. But I had felt that earlier in life, when I was half the age I am now, and I had gotten sick, and I went, when I came to, I realized, okay, who are you? What do you believe? And I was always drawn to my father's side, because it was the side that we weren't allowed to ask, and we weren't allowed to tell or talk about. I was taught not to talk about being Indigenous, being First Nations, being Cree, being Métis, as if it was something that was wrong. And at the time, society treated it like it was something that was wrong. But anyways, while I was healing, I went on my own journey within. I call it the 7 directions: north, south, east, west, above, below, within. And I really went within. And it was amazing what I discovered about myself, and what I discovered about my father and my family. And I kept the research going, because I think that's important. And the whole beauty of this is that, believe it or not, social media can be an amazing tool. And I found a link to my great grandmother. I knew her name. I knew where she was from. I'd even visited the homestead she had been born in, and actually her and her husband founded way back when. It's called Wiikinahmahgeh, and it's very close to the Sandy Lake Reserve. I read this book, and it brought so many questions to my mind. It was by Gordon Sasaskamoose. And when I opened the book and I read the first chapter, it sounded like my dad was talking to me, describing the places. I get goosebumps just thinking about it now. And I realized that there was something really connected here. So I was on social media, and I found this page found me, called Wiikinahmahgeh Past and Present General Store. And I thought, and I typed in my name, and I typed in who I was and who I was related to. And everybody came out, even Beverly Sasaskamoose, who is the daughter of Gordon Sasaskamoose. And I discovered that my great-grandmother Cameron, who was my father's grandmother, was actually the daughter of the first Sasaskamoose, who was head villageman of the Sandy Lake Reserve. And his brother was Atakaku, known as Chief Starblanket, who signed Treaty 6. And it was such a blessing to know the beginning. And I had done the search earlier in my life, but I had gone patriarchal. I'd gone through my father's side, and that was the Métis connection. And that's amazing all on its own. I found out that my great-great-grandfather on my father's side was one of the first ordained Anglican Indian ministers. He was an orphan boy who was found by the Anglican Church. And he went through the Plains Indians and the tribes and as a missionary. And well, we know how successful that was, and it was the times. But it explained a lot about my upbringing as well. It explained a lot of things to me. It was like all the pieces started falling in. And now, when the 215 children were found, that really woke me up. whether there's so many of the culture, mixed descent, of who don't know, they're just like me. I'll say it plainly. Sometimes you feel like you're not white enough in one center, and another time you might feel like you're not brown enough, and that's hurtful when you're just trying to find the place you are. But I've come to a time in my life where no one tells me who I am. I know who I am, and I'm very proud of who I am, and humbled as well, because my ancestors talk to me, and because my grandmothers visit me, and so does my father. And that is something that is mind-blowing to me. So I guess my message to those who travel the same journey that I do is that, we're all connected. And there's a saying that the blood tells the blood, but that's kind of a blunt way of putting it. I guess we're just all connected through our ancestors, and that we should celebrate and be proud who we are. We should honor who we are. We should honor our ancestors. We should learn as much. And I am so grateful to the platform that my union, UFCW 1518, has given me, and that the national UFCW has given me, because it's allowed me to use my voice and talk this way, where before I never could, or I never would have. Now I do. And I would just encourage anybody else to do the same. Be proud of who you are. Be who you need to be. And know that the ancestors are watching us. I have a little song. I'm going to sing it. It's a song that gives me great comfort. And it's a very old lullaby. It's adopted by many tribes. It's very old. In fact, they're arguing over whose song it is. But I'm going to say that it was from the Lakota, because that's what I can find on it. So I'm just going to give it to you one course. And I use this song in the morning when I wake up. It rings through my head. I use it for Thanksgiving when I feel thankful to something, or I use it for support. And even though it may not be Cree, maybe it is, it's all about the Creator and your relationship with Him, and what we can do with our lives. So very simple. I'm going to start. Try not to be nervous. Okay, here we go. Wendeya ho, Wendeya, hey, 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 ho, ya, ya, ya. I am of the Creator. I am of the Great Spirit. I am of the Great Spirit and the Great Spirit. Aho, and thank you. Miigwech. So that's my story.